Welcome to a Telltale Books video. I'm Greg, and I'm going to start talking about all the stories that have been included in Jonathan Lethem's new collection, A Different Kind of Tension, New and Selected Stories. Going from front to back, I'm not going to try to read everything by Jonathan Lethem. I've got too many of those series going as it is. I'm not going to add him in, so I'm just going to go through this one book. So the first story is Walking the Moons. We are Telltale Books, bringing you the best in literature, literary topics, and graphic design and bookmaking.
If you want to support us, you can find us on Etsy and Pango, where you can find gently used, rare, and even top quality used books.
And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and maybe even that bell to be notified when new videos go live.
Thanks for joining us.
Walking the Moons is the first story in A Different Kind of Tension. It was originally published in New Pathways in November of 1990, and this was Lethem's 8th published work. And it's short enough that I consider it to be flash fiction. It's a very short story. It's like 3 pages long. A little bit quickly about Lethem. I should do an overview video and go deeper, but basically his best known work is his novel Gun with Occasional Music, which was published in 1994. He started publishing in 1989, so this story was only a year later, and he was born February 19th, 1964 in Brooklyn, New York. So he's an American author. This is going to be a short video because there's not a whole lot to talk about, and there may be spoilers here, okay? So I'll give you the quick thing. Walking the Moons is a good, interesting story with some very interesting ideas. It's well written, very short, isn't going to take hardly any of your time, worth reading. So I do recommend it if you are okay with such a short story. So now I'm going to get into where there may be spoilers for the story because it's so short. I don't feel I can talk about it without going into more details than I really should. The story is about a reporter that wants to interview this guy. This guy is known as the man who is walking the moons or something like that. Let me look it up. I didn't write the exact name down. The man who is walking around the moons of Jupiter. That's what this guy is known as, because he is literally walking and seeing all the moons of Jupiter. But there's a catch. He's not actually on the moons of Jupiter. What he's seeing is virtual reality recordings, 3D recordings, so that he's got his goggles or headset on and he's able to see the whole landscape of the moons, but he's actually just walking on a treadmill in his garage. And the reporter is in his garage asking him questions and seeing that this guy isn't really walking the moons. He's not really seeing much of anything because there's not much on the moons of Jupiter. And, no atmosphere, no plants, no life. Just rocks and mountains and valleys and cracks and, exotic ice made of, not water. And if I recall correctly, there's a point towards the end of it where the reporter is asked, not really what you thought you were going to get here, is it? In this is a near future world apparently man has gone out and explored the solar system because they have taken VR footage of the moons of Jupiter to do this program that this guy is using. But money dried up, and so people stopped going into space, and now everyone's just earthbound. But this guy decided he wanted to use virtual reality to walk around all the moons of Jupiter. Lots of interesting things you could talk about here. I mean, first of all, the whole idea of the virtual reality, which is a big thing right now with virtual reality devices on the market, with AI creating things that are not real, creating things that are fake, creating fake news stories, all this kind of stuff going on, where we are relying on this electronic internet and the devices we connect with to show us reality, but that reality might not be reality. It could be totally, completely false and fake, and we could just be in our underwear in our garage. We're not really seeing the world. We're not really experiencing the world. What we're experiencing is a facsimile of the world when we go online. And that's what this guy's experiencing, is a facsimile of Jupiter's moons through a virtual reality program. So then for most of us, just going out on the internet to connect with the world, we're really only getting a facsimile of the world, a facsimile of life. And in a lot of ways, it's kind of sad. But the flip side of that whole thing is there's a lot of information, photographs that we see on the internet that we couldn't go to those places. I haven't got the money to do all that kind of traveling. How would I ever see the Taj Mahal? Only through photographs and video. That's the only way I would, because I don't have the money to get there, and I don't like flying, so I wouldn't fly there anyway. So how would I ever see something like that? If there's a riot breaking out in Beijing, how am I supposed to know? I have to rely on the news sources on the internet to show me what's going on there, because I can't go to Beijing and see it. It's not even possible. Even if I was willing to fly, by the time I would get there, it would be all over. So we need to rely on these technological sources to let us know what all is out there that we can't get to. And then, don't even go down the road of all the people who are disabled, and there's no way that, how are you going to roll yourself into the Grand Canyon? You got to walk down. I don't know, maybe they have ways of getting handicapped people down there, but otherwise I see somebody who's wheelchair bound is having a problem if they want to get to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. But if there's no way for them to do it, well, somebody could always hook a camera up to a drone and fly it down there so that they can see it on video from the drone live. It's a way to overcome it. So it's not terrible that we have these technologies that allow us to be connected. It's just dangerous if we rely on it too much, because of how easy it is for these technologies to put stuff out there that's completely false. So that's kind of the big issue that you have packed into this tiny little story, and that's fascinating. It's just brilliant that Lethem is able to take, first of all, such an imaginative idea, such an imaginative approach of talking about that idea, and then it's such a short story, and he's able to pack all that in and create a sense of character. You do get a sense of the character of this guy. He's living with his mother, playing this thing out in the garage. He apparently doesn't have a job. When he's on this thing walking, if he goes in his pants, his mother comes and cleans him. He's really nothing but an extension of the treadmill and the VR headset. and all the real world earthly things are still going on with him, but his mother is taking care of those things for him. It's, kind of a sad situation. His over reliance on this technology to do something that isn't even productive. It's not making him money. It's not doing anything great for mankind. It's not solving any problems. So, good story. Really good story. Really strong start to this. The next story in the book is called Program's Progress. It's Jonathan Lethem's 11th story. So, if you've read Walking the Moons, leave your comments in the comments section of the video. Come on back for Program's Progress and all the rest of the stories from this book. Maybe more Jonathan Lethem after that, because I've really enjoyed. I've actually already read the first 3 stories. I had a NetGalley copy of the book, and I had just found it and just got it and just started reading it, and then it got archived, so I couldn't read it anymore. So I went and pre-ordered it, but this was like 4 months ago, and I thought, man, now I gotta wait 4 months for this thing to come out before I can continue reading. I was kind of ticked off at that. Most of the things on NetGalley you usually at least have until the book is released publicly to read the NetGalley copy, but not in this case. And I think those decisions are made by the individual publishers, not by NetGalley itself. So I'm not faulting NetGalley, and not really even faulting the publisher. It's not that big a deal. I probably could have found the book 3 months earlier and been able to read the whole thing. But I'm enjoying the book, and the book is it's standard book, standard Barnes & Noble style book. This isn't a special edition, no sprayed edges or anything. Standard price, I believe. Forget what I paid. There it is, $29.99. So standard hardcover price. Kind of a cool, surreal illustration. And I love the colors on the cover. So I'm going to keep going through that book and read and report on all the stories, because I'm fascinated. I'm really fascinated and really liking the work of Jonathan Lethem. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I hope you'll join me for this journey through a different kind of tension